we were talking about this because we were texting right before the episode
Mm-hmm.
aired, and the fact that did we think we would ever get here?
No.
Oh, I know, and how excited to be alive during this time
We
we
made it.
are.
We made it, Mom. We made
Yes,
it. You know,
yeah. I didn't know that I would make it,
there was a lot of close calls there, ridiculously close calls in terms of like the world,
yeah,
for us to not make it to a show based on a global pandemic. You know,
yeah.
which is kind of crazy, but we made it. So, Mom, hit me. What did you think about The Last of Us on HBO?
I was not disappointed at all, not a bit disappointed, which is, that's a big thing for a gamer to say
Yes.
that that a TV show did not disappoint them.
Yeah.
Um, because I mean, it's just hard. It's just hard
Mm-hmm.
to have something that is so beloved, and I mean, I love this video game, and so it was really interesting to watch this. I loved Sarah,
Yeah.
loved her so much. I Even though I knew what was going to happen in the show,
Yeah.
uh, it still hurt me just as much. Um, I thought it was excellent. I thought they did a fantastic job. What
Yeah.
about you?
100%. We've we've had quite a few video game to movie adaptations. TV shows have been much more rare to get
Well,
any
I
of
mean,
those.
The Witcher.
Yes, The Witcher. The Witcher is
Um,
about what else?
feel like they did a pretty good job with it. But for me,
Did
okay,
they?
I am not. I've only played Witcher. I guess The Witcher 3.
Yeah, yeah, The Witcher 3. I mean,
Yeah.
you've probably actually played the game more than I have, but based on everything that I've read about The Witcher, and I mean, come on, Henry Cavill straight up left The Witcher TV show. I feel like that's all you have to know about The Witcher
Okay,
TV show. I still
but
enjoyed it.
he
I
left. You know why he left?
Well, he left because he was gonna go do Superman, and then
Yeah,
Superman fell
they
through.
told him that
But
he had to leave.
the Witcher or who?
Yeah, because that they were going to be filming at the same time. He could
Yeah.
not do both. And so he quit his job to take another job, and they fired him on it. I'm so hot about that. We have not talked about that, but
Yeah, no,
um
we can, you know, Witcher reaction show.
it's an, yeah, that's
There's
another
there's only one season left of that. But no, I'm with you. I thought that the show was fantastic overall. Like my initial feelings and in the moment as I'm watching it right after it airs was like, holy shit, that was amazing. I cannot believe this game that we have loved for a decade now is finally on our TV screens, and not only on our TV screens, but did right in terms of they did it on HBO, so it wasn't a Walking Dead scenario where went to AMC and it was kind of like
had to have a zillion commercials and
and everything was kind of like toned down as much as
mhm.
possible for AMC. That's not to say that those initial seasons were fun and all that kind of stuff for The Walking Dead.
Talking about The Walking Dead, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
but it's HBO. Anything that's TV related and is synonymous with HBO, you're like, this is about to be some quality shit. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
there's been so many instances in my life where I'm just like hooping and hollering on the couch on Sunday night
Yeah,
watching HBO,
yeah.
and so that was even cooler. I thought the fact that it being on HBO, I knew it was gonna like be introduced to so many people that have never played The Last of Us, don't even know it.
Yeah.
They just saw like
And
trailers and they were like, "This looks interesting. I'll check this
I know.
out."
And that's I have not had a chance, and maybe you have, and I'm super curious
Yeah,
to talk to people that did not play the video game because I don't hang out with those kind of people. Um,
you're like,
so
"Who are these people?"
yeah,
Uh,
not gamers.
well, I live with
So I
one.
Okay, and so
Yes.
what did she think? How did she feel about it?
She, my wife, she absolutely loved it. She thought it was fantastic. She's kind of been in the background while I've played the game a few times, especially for The
Hmm.
Last of Us Part Two. Not so much The Last of Us Part One. And so I
Which are
was
completely,
dressed.
totally different games.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was very excited to share the show
Hmm.
with her, because it's one of those things. Yeah, it's like this is your passion. It's one of your favorite things in the world, and so I was very excited to share it with her. And I was like, I kept kind of looking over throughout the
Yeah.
show, and I'm like, is she on her phone, or is she
Please,
like
please let her be
disinterested?
digging this.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Not on her phone one time. Not a single time. Eyes glued to the TV the entire time. Absolutely loved it. We actually just talked about it beforehand because I was like, hey, so what did you like overall? What did you think about the show? Not having played the game and not having like known really anything about it. And she's like, the characters were phenomenal. Like the people that played them, the actors that played these characters
Yeah.
were great. She loved that it was it's so much more grounded in reality than a lot of the like science fiction or zombie
Hmm.
stuff, or like any shows or movies similar to this. She liked that it was so dramatic, that we watch, again, watching a lot of HBO shows. Station 11 was a show that aired in 2022, I believe, or something like that, and Chernobyl and all these other shows. They're just like
Hmm.
super like gripping. You're just
Yeah.
you can't take your eyes off of what's happening to these characters. And so no, she absolutely loved it. She's hooked. She's like, I can't wait for next week. And so that was
This
really
is
nice.
this is tough.
Yeah.
Um, the the week to week
Yeah,
TV shows.
it's been a minute, right? I mean, for
Yeah,
me,
it
House
has.
House of the Dragon was tough, but I loved it because it was, again, it was one of those things where the whole world was talking about the House of the Dragon
It
every
is kind
Sunday.
of fun
Oh yeah, so
to
great.
watch it. Everybody's watching it at the same time. We
Yep.
get to talk about it the next day at work,
Mm-hmm.
and online. So that part is really fun.
Yes.
Um, I just I loved watching, and the part that I really hit for me was, so we're trying to escape the city.
Mm-hmm.
You're Joel and Tommy,
Yeah.
and Sarah are in the car,
Yeah.
and it is. I mean, I'm like holding a controller
Yeah, you're
in my
grabbing
hand.
your PlayStation
Uh-huh.
controller and you're like, wait a sec, am I
Yeah,
driving the car right now, or am I looking
because
as
it was
Ellie? Like,
so similar.
yes,
Uh,
yeah, oh yeah, shot. It felt that sequence felt shot for shot, and my wife
mm-hmm.
did note some of those where she thought it was really cool how it felt like it was shot, like the camera style, the cinematography felt like it was you were in, like, playing the video game, and so
Hmm.
she even really liked that. I mean, I know that those things are definite nods to all of us fans that
Yes,
played the game.
they're
And
trying to make us happy,
yeah, yeah.
and
Oh, uh,
I appreciate that.
yeah. No, I loved it.
Hmm.
Did you? Because and I'm gonna ask you three questions here in a second, and I mean, obviously based on your initial response of
You
did you
already
or
know
did you
what
not like the show, I think I can give
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry. Was I supposed to keep it
No,
toned
no,
down
no,
so that
no.
would be a?
No, no. I think for this is good to get it out of the way because being fans.
Eventually, we will get to. There will be some negative things that I'll
Yeah,
have to. I'm going to end up saying. We know that's going to happen.
yeah, it's going it, maybe not, hopefully not. I mean, considering the fact that like reviewers and critics and everything have already seen the entire season and they're raving about it. They're just like, this is the next big show for HBO. Maybe who
Well,
knows? Maybe there won't be anything to feel negative about. But I did want to ask you, because I think that this is the ultimate question, I think, for fans of the video game, and now watching it, and these characters that we love come to life on the small screen or the big screen, however you want to describe it, uh, as an adaptation of the game. Do you feel like it was too close for you? to enjoy it and be like, and to feel surprised at things that are going to happen or that may have happened in this episode, because it was very faithful to the source material, and that doesn't happen very often with adaptations these
Right.
days, because people are like, well, we want to give them something new, we don't want to just take the source material and put it into like a TV show or a movie or whatever. And that's where a lot of the fans, they get pissed off because they changed, characters completely or
I mean, they did.
whatever.
They changed one thing. It was a surprise. They killed Robert.
Yes, that's true.
So
That's
they
true.
killed Robert. That was different,
Yeah.
because you don't know how much time I spent chasing Robert to the city
Hmm.
as Joel to kill
Yes.
him. So I, I'm like, oh, this is gonna, y'all sit back.
Yeah.
This is gonna get drawn out, and I'm like, oh shit, Robert's dead.
Yeah.
Um,
Robert's gone.
so
Yeah.
so, there were surprises.
Yeah.
I loved how spot on it was. I
Hmm.
I personally loved that. Um, I knew Sarah was gonna die. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I she un, she had to.
Yeah.
It would have been really great if they could have surprised me and saved her, and she could have been Ellie's best friend.
Yes.
That would have been super awesome.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
the Ellie and Sarah show,
yeah,
and Joel's
yeah.
gone. Joel
Yeah,
dies
they
in the
got rid of
first.
Joel.
He
Yes,
he's the one that actually
he's the
died.
one that gets
Gets
shot.
gets shot and dies. I
Oh my
think that
god.
the fans would have definitely rioted at that
Yeah,
point.
they would have probably revolted.
Yeah.
Um, I thought they did such a great job on this first episode.
Yeah.
Um, it was nice how they were able to explore things
Hmm.
a little bit more,
Yeah.
and draw it out just a little bit more.
Hmm.
Um,
Which was nice.
uh,
They gave some characters more screen time, which
we got a
or
lot more time with Sarah
yeah, yeah,
than we
which
did in the game.
yes, for sure. But it was different screen time, right? Because you did get quite a bit with Sarah up front when it depends. You could have gone through it really quickly, or you could have been like
I
meticulously trying
mean,
to open every single
I
drawer.
opened every drawer.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
looked at every single thing there was to look
The-
at. So I spent,
e-
quite a bit of time with Sarah.
Yeah, exactly. So I did note like some of the major differences that I saw, between the game and the show, and obviously the show led off with a huge difference from the
Hmm.
game, and that was the cold open.
Yeah,
And the cold open having, which I loved
that was cool.
immediately, because like I was like, oh, it's John Hannah,
Yes.
who
Yeah.
I love, and then Big Head Baguetti from Silicon Valley.
What
He was the anchor in doing the
was
interview.
he?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, well, we've watched HBO shows for like 2 decades now at this point, and probably starting with something like The Wire, and then True Blood, and like obviously Game of Thrones, and like uh, just that all of the shows. And one of the things I love about HBO is how they recycle character
Yes.
actors in the different
Exactly.
shows. And yeah, I love seeing like Big Head Baguetti in this, and like I know we're getting other like HBO staple characters or
Hmm.
character actors that are playing. I forget. I think it's Rutina Wesley, who was in True Blood.
I was
Uh,
just gonna say, what about Bill? Or
well, Bill is Nick Offerman, which he hasn't been in HBO shows before.
oh,
So,
I'm sorry. I meant Vampire Bill.
oh, Vampire Bill. No, I don't think Vampire Bill. At least he's not in season one.
Okay.
But Rutina Wesley is. She plays a character in season. I don't remember who she plays. Do you remember her? Tara.
Yeah, she was Tara. I was going to say the character that I really was not a huge fan of.
Oh, you didn't like. I mean, she was so.
She's just annoying. That
I
was all.
I think she was annoying for a reason. On the show, but like, I
Oh no, I mean, it was they wrote her annoying.
yes, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. I'm trying to. Uh,
I've seen her in other things and liked her a lot.
yeah, no, she's great in other things. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out if I can find which character she plays. Yeah, Regina Wesley. She plays Maria. So, yeah. So I don't know when Maria is going to come into the show, but anyway. So that was one of the major differences, and I love that. I thought that was such a cool addition. The fact that similar to going back the parallels between The Walking Dead season one and The Last of Us now it's this the premiere episode. The fact that The Last of Us season one kind of gave us this like notion of what was happening and is there a cure that we're going to find eventually. It never panned out that I'm aware of because I haven't watched the final season. But I did like how they mentioned that this is going to be like a well, we already knew that it was a fungal infection, but I like the fact that they put that in our minds already, so that way, whenever you're seeing these little things, whenever we go into Sarah's character, and we see all the police, the cops, and all this kind of stuff, and they're talking about. We see the old lady, and she's like twitching and stuff in her chair.
Oh yeah,
That
when
was
she starts going,
yeah. That
it's like, oh,
get
she's
out,
creeping me out.
get out, Sarah, run
Yeah,
away, Tom.
and the dog when Mercy starts looking
Oh
at
yeah,
her,
yes.
and yeah, I was like, oh shit, run.
Yes, that was definite runtime. So yeah, I love that the little kid walking into the Boston QZ.
Ah,
I thought that
God,
was
that was just
yeah
sad.
that was tough. But I like that because and the fact that that paralleled well whenever you transition over to Joel and he's just kind of walking through Boston through the
Hmm.
QZ and he walks past that group of people that they're on their knees, they're getting scanned, and you realize that's how you find out in the game that like oh the scanner checks you for the fungal infection and you're dead.
Hmm.
And I thought that was a really nice not I mean it hurt but a subtle way of showcasing like okay this
I
is
like,
what they're doing in terms of precautions and then he has to like throw the little kid into the fire and yeah.
yes, and you see that it doesn't phase him
Mm-hmm.
because he has walled
Yeah.
himself off so much that he just picks that little kid up, and so it's a very stark contrast to
Yes.
who this wonderful human being was 20 years earlier. And
Mm-hmm.
he was just very, he was warm and he was funny
Mm-hmm.
and um and yes, I already have a little bit of a crush on him.
Well, we're gonna get. I do want to ask you about that one here in a second. And yeah, I won't go deep into each one of these, but I like the fact that we got more time with Marlene and Ellie. It gave us more background to Ellie's
uh,
character, more background to Marlene in terms of like who she is, what she stands for, how important she finds Ellie to be, and like just their dynamic, like Marlene taking no shit, and I like the fact that that was the character from the game, which is awesome.
I loved that so
Hmm.
much that it's the same chick,
Yeah,
and she's the only one, at least so far,
yeah,
that has got to play both characters.
yeah,
So, I mean, what a total thrill that had to be for her.
yeah. That had to have
So,
been badass. Merle Dandridge is her name, and yeah, the fact that carrying over into the show
hmm
that's pretty flippin' awesome. Because I
yeah,
mean, we know that Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker are in the show, but they do not
hmm
obviously play Joel and Ellie like they do in the game. So pretty awesome for.
Ashley,
Mhm.
who plays Ellie in the video game, does play Ellie's mom.
That's right. Okay,
Yeah,
I couldn't remember
uh,
who she played because,
yeah,
which obviously that's going to be new as soon as whenever we
yeah,
get to
because
that.
we've never met Ellie's mom before.
Mm-mm.
What did how did you feel about the little squiggly
Hmm. I mean,
cordyceps
they were
coming out?
they were super creepy and gross.
That was disgusting. disgusting.
Yes.
And it looks like if they kind of like attach
Mm-hmm.
to the victim, that whoever it is that they're killing,
Yeah.
uh, and suck on them kind of like a vampire.
Yeah, I mean, during that cold open, and that was one of the things I liked about it because everybody was laughing John Hannah's character, out of the room when he's talking about fungal infections versus, what the other doctor was talking about in terms of viruses and viral
Yeah,
infections.
bacteria
Yeah,
and
yeah, exactly. He's like,
foreign shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, and the fact that by the end of that talk that he was giving, everybody was like,
Hmm.
because yeah, that sounds
I mean, well, because
absolutely
basically,
terrifying.
uh, every the all the stuff that the other doctor was talking about, we
Hmm.
have some kind of a cure or a vaccine or something
Yes,
for, but fungi, we're screwed.
we're done. We lose. We
Hmm.
lose. Yeah, as John Hannah
I
characters.
really wanted them to say game over, but they didn't.
That would have been a bit much for me personally.
I was just like, say game over, say game over.
Game over, bro. Yeah. If it was only that, if that talk was happening in 2023, maybe it would have been different. Yeah, and then they mentioned Riley very very early. The
Yes,
Marlene
which
and
I mean,
Ellie's
we
talk.
never,
Mm-mm.
Riley is never brought up.
Yeah, nope. And then yeah, Tess getting beat up by Robert in the goons to set up that a little bit more. The fact that in the game she alludes to it. She's like, I got jumped by two guys, but that's really all you know
Hmm.
in the video game. But I like the fact that in the show that we actually see that confrontation
Yeah,
between Robert the goons. So that gets me to
Tess is. Oh, I was just gonna say Tess seems meaner in the show.
yeah. Oh, 100%. Yes. Well, that's I was heading like. So what did you think about the casting? Like now that we've seen the episode, because I know this was a big controversy leading
Hmm.
up to the show like actually happening. Everybody was like, I don't like Pedro Pascal, or I don't like Bella Ramsey, and all this kind of stuff leading up to the show. Anna Torv, Tessa's character, obviously like not the same actor, from the game. So yeah, what did you think about the casting overall? And yes, like, do you feel that there was a lot of differences between that character in the show and from the game?
I felt, obviously, like I just said,
Mm-hmm.
Tess's character was completely different. But I mean, they wrote her meaner for the TV show.
Yeah,
Um,
I think Joel and Tess were much meaner in
yeah.
the TV show so far. This what we've seen so far than in the game, and I definitely today I had the day off, so I went back and I played the very opening sequence.
Hmm.
I didn't even get to where they meet up with Ellie for the first time, but yeah, like it was even though yes that Joel is hardened within those 20 years. Tess, obviously, you didn't see what happened to her, like
Right.
you didn't see her lose her Sarah, but I'm
Hmm.
sure some obviously lots of bad shit happened to her, but I thought Joel was much colder, because in the game, like, I don't know, he just has like this kind of like jokey vibe with Ellie. Like he's like just giving her shit. But this
Yes.
Joel was like, I don't even want, no. And then but
Hmm.
Tess, yeah, you felt like these were definitely people that you did not want to cross.
Right.
And the fact that Tess kind of like controls Joel a little bit more
Yeah.
than you thought in the game. Like you thought they were a little bit more peers, equals.
Right.
But now
No.
now she's like, go kill him.
Uh,
Yeah.
she's kind of the puppet master. It seems like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I loved Joel,
Yes.
even though he was meaner. I
Mm-hmm.
I felt like Pedro Pascal is Joel.
Okay.
I mean, he nailed it. I felt totally comfortable
Okay.
with that. Um, I'm still not quite there
Mm.
Bella
With
as
Bella Ramsey.
Ellie.
Yeah.
Um, I like her,
Yeah.
um, and I think she did a good job. They made her a little harder
Mm-hmm.
on the show than they did in the game.
Yes, that one sequence where they run into the Fedra patrol person that Joel
Hmm.
had spoken to earlier in the episode, and he's
Hmm.
like, "I'm about to scan y'all," all this kind of stuff. When she watched Joel beat that dude to death,
That was weird.
yeah, it looked like she was like really into it. And you're right,
Yeah,
because like in the game, that Ellie would have been like, "Oh shit, what are you doing?"
yeah,
Like, she would have
yeah.
been kind of like, she hadn't, although obviously she was, very well equipped to survive.
Mhm.
She didn't seem like she was that, like, that had that killer instinct just yet. Because I mean,
Right.
plus like we find out later. I mean, when she actually had to, has to kill and stuff like that. Um, that's more difficult.
Yeah. I don't know if it was they were trying to convey that she was excited that somebody would
Protect
would
her like
do
that.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but it was very awkward.
Yeah, it felt like something out of The Boys or something like that, where like they're getting off on
Yes, exactly.
murderizing somebody.
Yeah. I mean, it was a little. It was like, yeah, that was a little odd.
Yeah,
Um, and I mean, I feel totally. I I feel like I am going to easily fall in love with this Ellie. I'll get there.
yeah.
Um,
I
I'm not
liked
in.
her.
I liked her, but I wasn't in love with her.
Yeah,
And you know, I
and you
am.
immediately loved Ellie from the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that she, like Bella Ramsey, crushed it in terms of like capturing the spirit of Ellie. Like the
Hmm.
when she tells the fireflies
Smart
to
ass.
fuck off, and like
Hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Three.
fuck you. I
Yeah.
yeah, I laughed pretty hard at that point.
Hmm.
I I'm with you on, like, I'm already over the fact that, yeah, initially I was like, Pedro Pascal for Joel, like, what are y'all doing
Yeah.
here? Like, I don't understand
Hmm.
this. But no, I'm with you. I think Joel crushed it. What I wrote here on my didn't love notes, uh, is Joel is a little rougher than I like, and not getting the scene with just Joel and Tess from the game, because again, going back to it, like what you mentioned, that Joel and Tess were like, they reminded me so much more of the characters from, oh god, why am I blanking on the Ozark, like the crazy hillbilly wife and
Hmm.
husband from Ozark,
Yeah.
than they did from Joel and Tess in the game, because like they had this
Yeah.
like flirty dynamic back and forth. Yeah, I mean, there was
There was none of that.
no, the love making is definitely, there's not going to be any softness to that love
Yeah.
making
Hmm.
between the two of them, or at least I don't feel like there would be.
Oh,
So
I don't feel like there is either.
yeah,
So.
no, but I think I'm a little bit warmer on Bella Ramsey than you are as Ellie. Absolutely loved, yeah, Pedro Pascal as Joel. I loved Gabriel Luna. I think that's his name,
Hmm.
as Tommy so far. I thought he was great. I thought the two of them. I loved the fact that we got that scene together of them over the breakfast table, and they're just like ribbing each
Hmm.
other. I was like, oh, it's so nice. Like, that's what you don't, well, plus, like, nobody knew that this game was going to be a hit, so it's like they can't have all these just like really slow scenes in the video game where people are gonna be like, I need to get to the gameplay.
Hmm.
So it's nice to like have that in the TV show. Anna Torv, I mean, come on, Anna Torv is the best. So I
Yeah.
do like her as Tess, but I'm just like, damn, y'all are y'all are hardened killers now,
Yeah.
which makes sense. I mean, it is, the apocalypse basically,
Yeah.
and they've seen some shit. So,
They've
um,
survived it.
yes, they.
So, and please don't get me wrong, because there is way too much like hate out there uh, about Bella Ramsey, and
Oh,
I'm not on that train at all.
Oh, well, no, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine. You're fine with your Bella Ramsey, but your imagery is not fine. You just,
What
I
is?
mean,
I mean, I
oof.
just I'm like, yeah. So
Good
I mean,
Lord.
I put something over my camera to make me look, a little softer. And no, I'm kidding.
Woo.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I think your internet just said bye bye. No more internet for
It
you.
crapped out.
Yeah, we'll have that great like image, like we had when we looked at some of our old thumbnails, where I was just like, what what is the difference here between the two of us? Okay, um, so I wanted to go through a couple of questions real quick, and these are
Okay.
kind of more quick hitters, and
All
and
right.
this is kind of how we'll more than likely kind of review and recap the episodes up front, moving forward, like each and every week. So number one, did the show hook you?
Yes, definitely.
So it did. So you like the cold open, like did it immediately get you into the, and you were like, heck yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Same for me. Again, I
Okay.
actually liked the cold open, and then uh, the 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 switch up of the Sarah story I liked, and I actually thought was more interesting than the game. I get that within the game they wanted to kind of like start
Yeah,
showing you some of the
they were
gameplay
trying, yeah,
mechanics. Yeah,
yeah.
but I liked her going over to the neighbors and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Did the show wow you with its action, environment, set,
Oh, the environments. Oh my God.
right?
Okay. So, for the longest time, I wanted to be an extra on The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
I want to be an extra on The Last of Us so bad, so bad.
yeah.
So,
It would. I mean, I would want to just be like, yeah, one of the clickers or something like
oh,
that.
yeah. I mean, I'll be a gopher. I don't
Yeah. Oh,
care. I
that's
just,
yeah.
I just want to be there.
A Fedra
Uh,
background person. You know.
yes, exactly.
Yeah. No, I mean that was definitely one of the things that I immediately struck me was, oh my god, I feel like I'm in the freaking game. Like the
Hmm.
the the sets, the environments, the like deterioration of the
Yes. It,
city, like it
and I think they may have taken it a step further.
yeah, yes, yeah, I think so as well. I don't know where they filmed it. If you can look that up
Um,
while we're chatting, but
I heard that the spores are gone. They've taken the spores
yes,
out of them.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
they,
spores are gone, and
I
that's what,
guess it's replaced by the
yeah, yeah,
tendrils.
yeah, by the tendrils. But yeah, everything about the sets, the environments, I thought the action was great. I mean, they scaled the action down a little bit. The fact that like they didn't actually take Robert and his men down. They just walked in and they were all dead. And in the game, obviously, that's a big part of you're going and taking them all
Got to
out.
kill a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, you got to kill a whole bunch of dudes at the very beginning of the game. So, yeah, I'm with you. The show definitely wowed me as well. So, last question.
Alberta, Canada.
Oh, okay, it is in Canada. I kind of had a feeling it was a Canadian-based show. Cheaper to film up there. So,
I guess. Dang it.
I know. I mean, hey, you can still get up to Canada.
I have a passport.
Yeah, get to season.
No worries.
Get to season 2. Last question. Did the show leave you wanting more? And okay, maybe I should say and why.
Okay. Well, I mean, and this is a hard. This is really hard to. Yes, I want more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, in part because I know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want to see them how they do it. Uh,
Yes.
you?
Oh, yes, 100%. I felt like they they ended the show at a point where I'm like, damn, like they definitely had the mic drop moment at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
I think that did I read it or listen to it in the podcast where it was like they were going to stop the episode at a different point, like right as Joel drops the little boy into the fire, and I'm like,
Yeah,
damn, that would have been a I don't
that
know if
would have been rough.
I don't know if that would have
I
had the
was very happy that HBO said, "Hey,
yeah.
let's change this up just a little bit."
Yeah, I'm glad that they definitely changed that up. So, but no, I thought that the episode was fantastic. Are you're trying to?
I'm just like, what's happening to my face?
Do you have your Wi-Fi on?
Fuck if I know what's on.
I thought you had good internet out there in the
That's what
sticks.
it was so funny because one of the conversations that my husband and I
Yeah.
had before, because he works for the company that provides the internet, and he said, "Well, one thing you won't have problems with is your internet." And I'm
I
like,
I mean, look at you now. Look at you now. You look great. You look like a real human again. It's great.
that's just bizarre.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So no, I think we're on the same page there. The episode was fantastic. If I had to put a score on it out of 10, I'd definitely give it a 9.5 out of 10. I mean, there wasn't much like that I didn't like. I mean, there was no other than I think that yeah, the fact that Joel and Tess are a little rougher, but I'm just like
yeah.
I think that's probably actually a better choice because now when I play the game, I'm like, man, they get real jokey and like chummy real fast. Which is not a bad thing, but I kind of like that this is has a little bit different, a slightly different feel to it, a different vibe to it than the game itself. So, um, yeah, I just wanted to note a couple of small details that I noticed, and that was I again these are like the most minor of details. I really like the fact that, but these I geek out on this shit sometimes. So when Sarah took Joel's money out of the dresser,
Mhm.
all the bills were like the old 20s, the old 50s. Like again, this
Did
is
they?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, good job on them.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why I love that kind of stuff, but it just immerses me so much more whenever they're like
Yes.
it's 2003. They had like there was something that had like George Bush Jr. On it and stuff like that. And again, very very subtle thing. I don't because obviously I don't remember this line in the game, but Sarah, whenever they're like, "What the hell's happening?" and Sarah initially goes, "Is it terrorists?" Because again, that would have been 2 years after,
It was, yeah.
and it was September in the game. It was
Hmm.
September 2003, so it would have been the second like 2 year anniversary of 9/11. And so I again very very like small details. I'm like, damn,
Hmm.
y'all are good. Damn, y'all are good.
Hmm.
And I've seen this going around. Um, the fact that Joel and Tommy and Sarah they didn't eat any biscuits, they didn't eat any pancakes, and I want to say there was like one other thing that involved flour that they didn't eat. And so people are saying like that's why they didn't initially get the virus. And that's why all these other people were getting it because
Oh my God. I mean, because
yeah,
the neighbors were,
doing
yeah.
biscuits and
Hmm.
yeah, all that stuff. So, um,
I'm throwing my flour out.
yeah, see you later, flour. No more. Um,
That's interesting.
yeah, and then one other thing that I thought was interesting in terms of like a difference in terms of tone and vibe from the game to the show was how Joel and Tess found out in the show. Whenever they found out that Ellie was infected, they were so much more serious than they were in the game. Like, I mean, yeah, it was
No, they were.
not gonna be good for Ellie. But in
Hmm.
the but in like they were so much more serious about the infection because even like in the I went back and looked at the game to the the whenever they found out in the game and it was almost like Joel was like, "Oh, she's infected. What the hell? What the hell?" And I'm like, no, people would be, he would be freaking out at that point, because that would mean that he could potentially get infected. So,
Right.
um, and then I also liked Marlene. noting that she put Ellie in the Fedra camp,
Yeah.
which I'm like, does that mean like that would
Well,
have?
I mean, when Ellie said, "Are you my mom?"
Mm-hmm.
Which was a perfectly reasonable question.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and then Marlene put that one to bed.
Yeah.
do I
You
look?
look like
Do
your
I
mom.
look like your mom?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, Mom, I think that's all I have in the way of questions,
All
and
right.
I mean, I got to hats off. That by the way, we didn't actually mention it up front. The name of this episode was "When You're Lost in the Darkness." It was directed by Craig Mazin, written by Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann. I did want to also point out for all the folks out there that watch the behind the episode or after the episode, whatever it is that HBO does, and saw Craig Mazin for the first time with his name attached to Craig Mazin and realized that, oh my God, it's the asshole from Mythic Quest. So, I mean,
Wait,
that's a small like
huh.
connection to if anybody watches Mythic Quest, my mind was blown. The fact that I'm like, wait, that's the guy that wrote and directed Chernobyl, and now he's
Which
like the
is
guy
really
behind The Last
interesting
of
because
Us.
I heard that he, comedy was his first love.
I mean,
Huh.
he's great on Mythic Quest. He's not he doesn't come on a lot, but I I was blown away when I saw his face, like as he's like talking with, it was like him and Neil, and they're
Hmm.
talking about the episode and everything, and I'm just like, what? Yeah, so that was
And Neil is the director next week.
yes, Neil is the director next week, and apparently, I mean, Craig Mazin must love video games because he actually
Yes.
is also did he did he wrote Borderlands, and he is
Which one?
the movie, the movie that's coming up. Yeah, he wrote the movie, and then yeah, he's a writer on Mythic Quest. So, I mean, and literally his only acting credits are Mythic Quest, The Last of Us, and Chernobyl. I guess he was in Scary Movie 4. Um,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, next week's episode is Infected, which obviously they're going to get
Ooh.
much deeper into Ellie and the fact that she's infected. It says directed by Neil Druckmann, written by TBA. That's a weird one. I have a feeling it's probably written by Craig Mazin because he's on episode 1, episode 3, in terms of writing credits. So yeah, super excited. I'll be curious. Like by the time next time we record, we'll have found out by then in terms of like how many people watch the show. Because I'm very
Yeah,
curious to know that.
me
So
too.
had to have been
Um,
big time.
we were a little nervous last night that HBO was going to
It did
go
crash.
broken. Did?
It did, but it didn't crash for me or you. So yeah, we were among the lucky ones, but it did crash for
Yeah.
some folks. So
Oh,
um,
sorry.
well, Mom, this was a lot of fun.
Was
Um,
fun.
and if you want to follow along with us, we're going to be watching and chatting about the episode after it airs each and every week. We're also going to get back into the game itself because we want to, as we're watching the show, we can go back and play the game. And it'll be a little bit more of like a slow burn thing because we can kind of
Yeah.
talk about the similarities, the differences
Hmm.
as we're playing the game. So we'll probably have a follow up episode pretty shortly after this, with us walking through the first part of the game to match what happened in episode
Yes.
1. So, Mom, it was like I said, it was a lot of fun. I'm glad that
Was
we're
fun.
getting back to this, and let us
Too.
know what you thought about The Last of Us on HBO episode 1. When you're lost in the darkness, look for the light. That's actually not the last part of the episode title, but that is the Firefly quote,
Yeah.
which I thought was a clever use of some Firefly lore,
Hmm.
So, all right, well, that's it. Hope everybody has a fantastic rest of their day, rest of their week. I hope you can make it through this unbearable time before we get to the next episode of The Last of Us.
Exactly.
Yes.
Week by week, it's torture.
It's gonna be rough, y'all, but we're here. We're in it together.
That's right.
All right. Bye, everybody.